Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. We are here with Ryan McGuire of Grubstar, and we're talking about a brand new app coming from Odessa. You're going to want to check this out.
Wish we could turn back time to the good old days when the mama sang.
Welcome to the show. We are here with Ryan. It's McGuire, correct?
Yes.
McGuire?
Ryan McGuire.
He is developing a very cool thing, developing an app called Grubstar, correct?
Yes.
Tell us about that.
All right. So Grubstar is an app that I'm developing actually with my creative partner, Abel Nunez. He's got Creative Marketing Nerds in Odessa. If anybody's familiar with him, he's doing the software for me and a little bit of the logo work and that kind of good stuff. Killer dude. Anyway, Grubstar is a marketing app / membership service for people that love food.
Right.
So what I do is I partner with local restaurants, food trucks, bars, really any place that has food or drinks, cake studios, and they provide exclusive menu items and deals to Grubstar users. So if you want something kind of like the unicorn frap, something that's out of the ordinary or something that's not normally on a menu at a local place, and that's going to have kind of some hype behind it, driven by Grubstar and driven by just word of mouth, then the thing to do is to join Grubstar.
Yeah, so I mean, it's for both the businesses and the consumers.
Exactly.
This is really cool to me. It actually, I can see this helping, like, even the thought process of beginning to be a restaurant on Grubstar makes you think, like, in the marketing aspects, like, what are the special things that I need to get going on? Like, what can I make that's an exclusive? Because then they start getting in the marketing mind, right? And they're like, well, how do, like, because a lot of people, and I think a lot of business owners, like, especially early ones, right? The marketing thing is very difficult at first.
I completely
when they start to
agree.
understand that, you know what I mean? So that's really cool. So the membership thing, tell us a little about the membership, like how do they do this? I know you have an app, like what's going on with that?
Absolutely. So the app is launching, I didn't mention this, it's launching actually a month from today. It's launching on July 22nd officially. We're doing an official launch party in Odessa. Venue's hopefully going to be confirmed this week, and I'll send more information out, but we're going to have the food trucks that are on board Grubstar out there. We're going to have vendors, caterers from the different restaurants that are participating in Grubstar will all be out there at the venue. So, membership. It's free for the first 30 days. You get to try whatever you want to try, go to all the restaurants, take advantage of the deals, and then it's just $5 a month. But the special thing about that is not only are you getting access to the exclusive menu items that these restaurants are providing, you get access to the exclusive deals, which on average range from $2 to $3 a pop. So if you visit a restaurant twice a month that's on Grubstar,
boom,
you're done. And you're actually saving money, you're earning money off of it. In addition to that, we're actually doing some Grubstar exclusive events. And then also anything that I collaborate with somebody on as far as an event that Grubstar is participating in or sponsoring, I work it out so that somehow Grubstar users actually receive benefits. So whether that's actually me taking some money out of what I would normally get paid and applying that to Grubstar users, whatever Grubstar is doing, Grubstar users will be able to benefit from.
Sweet. Yeah, this is really neat. This is also really cool to me because the idea that this shows up in this area is kind of weird, right? Like, you're new. You're like, I don't know. I could be wrong. Like we talked about this on the phone. I could be wrong but it doesn't seem. I don't see any more of those apps out there yet, which is really cool because this is like the first sign of that. There's plenty of that stuff out in other areas like San Antonio, Austin, like bigger areas and stuff. So this is really, really cool seeing this happen in the Midland, Odessa area because it's kind of a sign to me, right? That now, like, we're starting to kind of push into this new, like, the new era, really, like 21st century stuff. Because apps should be, they're normal, right? Like, it's a business model.
Right, it's day to day. I mean, people our age especially, people, even people older, I mean, my parents have smartphones now and they have apps and they're constantly using their phones. And so it's insane to me to think that I'm one of maybe 10 apps in the Midland, Odessa market, and the majority of those are either developed outside of our area by a large marketing firm or some type of software developer. Like Abel Nunez at Creative Marketing Nerds and myself, we're developing this in-house. And so this is, from the ground up, something built in the Permian Basin. And to my knowledge, we're one of only 3 secret menu-based apps in the country. And the other 2 don't have the exclusivity. So all they do is, like, you see a secret menu at Starbucks, you see a secret menu at different places, cool deal. They list that, you don't get anything special for participating. With Grubstar, you're actually getting exclusive secret menu items at the participating restaurants. So honestly, it's one of a kind.
Yeah, which is, again, this is super cool.
Yeah,
I saw the app a while back, and I was like, this is interesting. I wonder what's going to happen. So this is something we talk about on the phone too. Like, we see this stuff happen a lot. Like, people come up with ideas and they want to do this and they share a little bit, but then nothing ever really comes of it. Like, you've done the hard part about this already. Like, and this is why I wanted you on the show, because when we started talking on the phone, like, I could tell you were serious about it, right? Like, you're doing the sales part. This is the part nobody wants to do, right? Like, hitting the ground and talking to the business owners about getting on the app, and then like setting up the back end of it. Like, how are you going to set the payments up? Like, thinking about the business side of the app and not just the app itself.
Right.
Because a lot of people will get into that, like, oh, I'm going to build, I'm going to be a billionaire, but they don't even think about the hard part.
Exactly. Yeah, a lot of people actually have this concept that they're going to build the next Flappy Bird, or they're going to build just the next app that blows up overnight, and they don't realize the work that goes into doing that. So they think, oh man, Mark Zuckerberg, blew up with Facebook overnight, and they watch The Social Network and they think that it looks easy, but they don't realize just the time and the dedication. And you're really creating something out of nothing when you're doing this, because not only is it the software, but like you mentioned, Paul, it's going out and talking to the businesses, because without the restaurants participating, Grubstar doesn't exist.
Right. Yeah, you don't have anything.
There's no point.
Yep.
You could try to make it an advertising thing, but there's no fun in that, and there's nothing.
And this comes down to content, right? That's the engagement side. Of course, it could be an advertising thing. No one's going to care.
Right. Yeah. who downloads an app just to look at ads? Like, you hate the ads in the app. Right.
Oh, that's funny. That's such a broken business model. That's so funny. It's like, I'm just thinking about, I'm sure there's someone out there, no offense, but like, it's a bad business model, right? I'm going to download an advertising app.
Right. People, and I think that's a problem that people have, and that's something that I needed to work out at the beginning, because I wanted this service to provide these exclusive menu items to users. And I was wondering, how am I going to make this valuable to people outside of just the kind of unique experience of ordering these items? And so I thought, man, we need to invest back in and have the restaurants commit to giving some type of discount to users.
Right.
And so that way it's not that they're being advertised to, and there actually are not. We're going to have Grubstar partners that are non-restaurant based. And what this is, so instead of your typical ads, we're going to have a special menu within Grubstar of local businesses that are participating in Grubstar, and that they're offering an exclusive deal to Grubstar users, and that's the only way that they'll be on Grubstar. So if you see something, you'll never see a standard ad. It will be something that's being offered exclusively to Grubstar. I'm actually looking right now at local gyms. I want to do a partnership where a local gym would give at least $5 off of their monthly membership to Grubstar users. What that would do would take care of your Grubstar fee, your membership fee, and because you're going to be eating all this incredible food on Grubstar,
plus
you can go work it off at the gym, whoever I partner with. So that's something I'm working on right now.
That's really, really interesting. So now we're talking. You're not just Grubstar is no longer. You're not even thinking about just restaurants now.
Right.
Like, you want to branch out, and this becomes West Midland, Odessa, or West Texas, or wherever your aspirations are. But like, becomes kind of just this hub for the local area for people to go in and do that, which is really interesting to me, because now you're talking about it becoming basically, it becomes an advertising platform, but what you're doing is it's super relevant to people. It's like you are now thinking about becoming like the 21st century version of like the thrifty nickel.
Yeah. That's hilarious. That's actually a really, really good point. What I want, my idea for Grubstar, beyond the restaurants, and the restaurants are the main thing. I'm a foodie. I love trying new things. So every time I'm at a new place, I heard that there's actually a Jamaican food truck, I think, here in Midland that opened up, called like Jammin' Yammin', something like that.
Oh, I'm going to have to check them out.
Yeah, they're like just down the street. We passed them on the way here, and I've been dying to try them. But anyway, so I want them on board Grubstar. So if they somehow see this, I want Jammin' Yammin' on Grubstar.
We can make that happen.
We'll make it happen. So anyway. So you mentioned the thrifty nickel. Yeah, beyond restaurants, I want to take this. I want to build a community of people that support creativity and ingenuity and just innovation in a multitude of industries. But right now it's restaurants, because I want a ton of different food options. I want to see my favorite local restaurants succeed.
Yeah.
I want to see a new kind of generation and a new audience fill those restaurants and those dining tables, not only with their person in buying things, but I want them to be excited about it, and I want there to be some type of level of participation between what a restaurant's putting on the menu and what people want.
Right.
Because a lot of times there's a disconnect.
Yeah, and I think, no kidding. So this is really too cool too, because there's like there are a ton of like small little restaurant businesses out here, have fantastic food that just people either don't give a shot, right? Will never really go do that, or have never heard of them before sometimes because they're like within their little, niche of people. But it becomes like, this is really interesting because it's thinking about in the way that like Austin. I keep using Austin as an example because it's like easiest for people to relate to. But when you go to Austin, like everybody has their favorite local place that's like really cool. You know what I mean? And they just have the bigger population, so it's easier for them to get that word out. But that's really cool to me. I think it would be really interesting to see this area, at least a portion of its population, start thinking of us in that way.
Thank you. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I completely...
We've talked about this before, right, guys? Like, everybody has this idea that, like, oh, it's Midland or it's Odessa.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And that has, like, that alone, the way I said it, everybody knows what I'm talking about.
Yep.
I don't even have to explain it. But there's things happening here.
Exactly.
There's things happening.
Right. We had a conversation just briefly about the creative industry, and there's so many creative people in Odessa and Midland that are doing things, and people either just don't see them doing it or aren't looking for it because they think, like you said, it's Midland, it's Odessa. And when we break that just train of thought and decide that, hey, we are more than what we've decided we're going to be, and we can be in Austin. I mean, maybe not in population size, but we can do the same things that Austin does in our larger cities around Texas and the U.S., then we'll succeed. We're really just limiting ourselves.
Yep.
And so that's what I'm hoping to accomplish with Grubstar is just kind of almost, in a lot of ways, I was talking with a local business owner about this a couple days ago. A lot of ways I want Grubstar to be educational. In that it educates restaurant owners in not even just marketing, but to engage their audiences.
Yes.
And whether they do that solely through Grubstar or on other social media pages and other apps, whatever it might be, that's awesome. I want more success in the area.
Right.
Because success it's not a pie that everybody takes pieces from.
Not a zero-sum game, right?
Exactly. It's not a zero-sum game.
4 times in a row now we've had that conversation, right?
That's funny.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. So if we're all succeeding together and bringing that positive energy into all that we do, then we're all going to benefit from it.
So
it's exciting.
So true. Man, that's crazy to me. Again, I'm just like, I'm blown away by the number of people we've met doing this that, like, again, like the common mantra of Midland, Odessa, like, shouldn't be here.
Right. No, it just needs to go. And all we
Yeah.
have to do is just give it up.
Just got to go do it, man.
Right. I see so many people that just sit here and they think, okay, I'm excited about moving to Lubbock, which is very similar to Odessa in a lot of regards.
Yep.
Or I want to move to Dallas. I want to move out here. I was like that just a few years ago. I was dying to get out of Odessa so that I could move to Dallas. I'd be closer to the Cowboys. And so
Cowboys
go Cowboys.
fan. Which explains the star, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, dude, no. Seriously, I'll go off tangent a little bit. This star, I literally want in some form to be in Cowboys Stadium one of these days. Like, that's a dream of mine.
How cool would that be?
In the business model, I mean, that's a very clear, one of my kind of dream goals is to do some type of partnership, some type of deal with the Cowboys.
Cowboys?
Hopefully that happens.
Get Jerry Jones.
I think it will.
Get Jerry Jones.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
We
I might
can
have
make
a tear
that
dripping
happen,
down
too.
my eye when I shake hands with Jerry Jones, but it'll be okay.
Oh, that's awesome. Perfect. So this is so cool. The other thing too is like when we're talking about like, because this is you diving in our world a little bit when you're talking about the marketing thing with restaurants and literally any business engaging with their customers, because I mean you could win this game very easily in anywhere because it's still a very new thing, like the social media thing. Once you start engaging people, like the game changes very, very, very much. Like I'm thinking of 2 different ads, right? For the same restaurant or same business or whatever. One of them is like, hey, come buy my stuff. And the other one's like, hey, these are the cool things we've got going on, and there's a video, and like they like, Joe the kitchen guy. You know what I mean? Like little things like that. And if they watch that video, well, you might, that in itself, you should understand that that's going to bring business.
Yep.
When you're engaging. Like, it's not enough for just people to know you exist anymore.
Right.
100%. It has to be more than that now.
Yeah,
because of what's going on social.
Can I speak to that a little bit?
Absolutely.
So, I am very interested in marketing, and what I do see happen not just with restaurants but with other people is that when somebody's starting a business, they're so invested in it, and they're grinding, and they're putting in hours upon hours, thousands and thousands of dollars into the work, and so they fall into this trap of once it's finished, they're so relieved that they're like, all right, everybody, here it is. Like I've turned, here's all the work that I've put in. We're done. Now come and see us. Like you said, the place that just posts, hey, these are our hours, or hey, come on in.
Yeah.
And what they don't realize is that people didn't see that work you put in. And it's incredible, all the effort that you put into it. But if you don't advertise and you don't tell your story like you do, opportunities like this to actually get to interview and visit with people.
Right.
If you don't tell that story and broadcast it, then people aren't going to know what you're about. They're not going to recognize the work that you put in, and they're going to think you're just a place that popped up overnight.
Yep.
So you actually do yourself a service.
Documenting the part of growing is really interesting to me.
Yeah, it's incredibly important. Mm-hmm. It's incredibly important. So that's a real service.
And if you think about it, like now, like my brain's going to a weird place thinking about this, but like I'm just imagining like some guy starting a restaurant, right, and doing all this and doing the work, putting thousands of dollars into it, doing the marketing, like building this plan or whatever, and then all of a sudden, like at the end of it, like you said, he's like, okay, now we're here, come get us, right?
Right.
And it feels good because it's like out there. But understand what it looks like on the other end of that phone. They've got a billion things going on. Like I'm talking specifically like Facebook ads, right? They're scrolling through their phone and like they just see your post. Like cool. Like they don't understand. They don't know. They just like, oh, cool. Like that's what happens, and people need to understand that that's what's going on. Mm-hmm. But also people need to understand that that's the same thing that happens with all advertising, right? This is not, and I think that it's a thing that people really need to think about because whether that's billboards, TV, radio, like it's a passing moment for people, right? It becomes very different whenever you're able to make your marketing plan become a part of people's lives. Then things get really interesting, right? Because this show, for example, right? For a lot of people, they will scroll through their Facebook feed, they'll see it, and they'll move on. Mm-hmm. But for one person, let's just say one person, clicks on the video, really likes it, right? Thinks you're amazing, right? And you know what I mean? Like watches it, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, this is really cool. And then they start watching every week. Right. And then it's become something different. Like it's how Kim Kardashian became, you know what I mean?
No kidding.
People just watch her.
Yeah, people watched this certain video, I think, is really what blew her up to popularity.
Paul's not clear on how she became.
Yeah.
Well, see, whatever it is, I was not aware of that, but I am now, I guess.
That's hilarious.
But then you think about now, like, well, she took that opportunity, right? Like, it was something that's not normal, right? And just now she does whatever, like her keeping up with the Kardashians thing is really interesting to me because, like, what are they really doing through that?
Right, yeah, just documenting lives. It's reality TV.
Yep.
It's hilarious.
And people love that stuff.
Yeah, they really do.
It's like rubbernecking, right? People want to see what's going on behind the scenes, right? For whatever reason. But anyway, back to what we're talking about. So Grubstar is very cool to me. It does give businesses the opportunity to think about what they're offering to the customers. Not necessarily always in a monetary situation, right? But also really just thinking about like, what is the value that I'm really bringing?
The restaurant.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's an important thing. And something that I want to make clear is that, Grubstar doesn't exist to get these restaurants to a point of creativity because they have created a menu.
Of course.
And they are offering things that make themselves unique.
You wouldn't be approaching them if they weren't doing something right.
Exactly. And so I'm honored to say that the places that I have on board already are some of the most creative people that I've had a pleasure of dealing with. And that's not just, I come from a finance background. And so I've seen different business plans and stuff like that, and there's just so much room for creativity in food. That's part of the reason that I was drawn to it. I mean, you can have an egg, for example, and there are 100 different ways to prepare an egg, and 100,000 different things to put it in. And so the important thing for these businesses, in the consumer to understand is that what Grubstar is going to do is provide a level of value that even if it exists currently, you're not recognizing currently.
Right.
And so we're taking what people are already doing, we're amplifying it, and we're making it into something that feels special both for the restaurants that participate and the Grubstar users that participate.
Yeah. And you're creating kind of this like an area for people to congregate on that.
That's what I want.
Which is really interesting.
Right now we don't have a review system or anything integrated into the app, but what I hope is that I can drive this kind of community feeling that the restaurants that participate, whenever I email the restaurants that are on board already, I call them the Grubstar roster. together because we're a team. And so, if one restaurant is really succeeding with their Grubstar item and another isn't, for one reason or other, we're going to figure out what's happening with the one. If we're not marketing it correctly,
right.
Maybe it's just not an item that clicks with the market here locally,
yep.
And then we'll evaluate. And so not only is it just a, hey, let's put this thing on Grubstar, see if people buy it, cool deal.
Right.
But there's a level of collaboration there where we're going to make sure that we're succeeding together and that we're offering the best product to consumers here in the area. And
yep.
so hopefully the type of people that will download Grubstar are the people that value that. And I really have faith that those people exist here in the Basin.
Yeah, I think they exist everywhere. I think just being there is going to help a ton. Like, I would do that for sure. Like, we were talking about the other day, like, this reminds me a lot of, like, I graduated from Permian, and we did these things called Mojo cards.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
That's what this sounds like to me, but on, like, 21st century app world.
Right.
Because that's what it is. Like, I buy the thing, and then I get discounts for the year. Or however long it lasted. It was like 6 months, right? But then I got to rebuy it again next year. You know, and it keeps doing it over again. And yours is really cool because it's first of all, it's for local businesses,
mm-hmm.
right? So it's not necessarily franchises. I don't know where you're at with that. I'm not going to like pry into that, but that's really interesting to me because those things sell, right?
Yep.
Those people buy those Mojo cards, and I don't know if it's because of the philanthropy part of it or it's because of the discounts. I know a lot of people do it because of the discounts. Like, that is very interesting to me that you have. I don't even know if that's the thought process that went into it, but it's a model that already works.
Right. It really is, and again, I've had some people make the comparison to Mojo cards and OHS cards, whatever it might be, and that's really interesting. And so that's why I want to. We have the discounts that will hopefully evolve. It's not going to be the same thing all the time, and then especially the exclusive menu items, which is the real draw. That was the whole idea behind Grubstar at the very beginning, was to get some neat new things in the area. Abel and I have actually talked about doing some tasty videos. Not exactly like Tasty, but doing the exact same type of thing where we have an overhead camera showing these restaurants prepare the dishes that they're going to be serving on Grubstar, and hopefully those things will go viral. That's what we're aiming for.
That stuff is like, that's right. That's exactly what should be happening, right? And it's really funny to me because I think like it's not like it's stealing an idea, because that was where my brain went for a moment. Was like everyone's like, oh well, that's what they do. Like, yeah, because it works.
It works 100%. It works.
You know what I mean?
It provides value to the organization that you're purchasing it from and to yourself.
Yeah.
I've bought those things every year for years, and so that wasn't the original. That's something that's come later, and so. But yeah, the deals definitely do kind of reflect that a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah.
The other thing that makes me laugh about that too is I know. I can imagine, and I've not talked to anybody directly about this, but some restaurants like being afraid of like giving out their secret recipe or whatever, which is, I understand it. I have sympathy behind that. But at the end of the day, like, they're going to have to go do that. Like, do they really want to like take the time, like from both ends? Like, let's say a restaurant wants to steal your recipe, right? Are they really going to do that? Do they really have time to like implement that into their menu, to like market that in the right way? Or people really even know it exists? And on the consumer end, like, most people are not going to take the time to cook that thing. Like, you're not going to lose business because of this. So that's just my thought on that. I'm kind of weird about that, but
no, it's a valid point. Some people that I've talked to when I was originally just kind of working on the business plan for Grubstar were like, okay, but our restaurants is hot anymore. Like, I have so many friends that have Blue Apron and they try to eat at home, and friends that do meal prep and everything. And I'm like, okay, I mean, come on, look at restaurants. Like, I still have to wait an hour and a half to get into Chili's most nights.
Yep.
So, I mean, come on.
That's not going anywhere. Anybody that thinks restaurants are going anywhere is probably is missing the point of a restaurant. Because first of all, I understand the Blue Apron thing, right? Like, people want to do that. People have to understand a couple things. Restaurants are not just about the food, right?
Exactly.
There's an experience there that comes along with that you can't, like, Blue Apron can't create for you. Right? Now, Blue Apron does have a place. Right? Obviously, there's going to be a place for that. There's going to be a place for meal prep. But this thought process, like, that kind of blew my mind for a moment, that people would think that restaurants would go away, because that never in my mind clicks at all. And you guys know very quickly that I'm the first person to say, if I think a business model doesn't work in the long term, I'll call it out. But restaurants don't seem like that to me.
No, not at all. I don't think restaurants will ever go anywhere because, like you said, it offers an experience. And if I can just speak on that, experiences are kind of the main thing behind Grubstar, because I know that if I've found out about a menu item, like if anybody's familiar with In-N-Out Burger and you hear about animal style and all these different ways you can order their stuff, I was pumped.
That stuff's funny to me,
I was so excited to get into an In-N-Out and order the secret menu item sometime. And the idea that they kind of knew what I was talking about, but it wasn't anywhere in the restaurant, I was just so excited. It was this really cool experience.
Yeah.
I took pictures. I wanted to show my friends, like, hey, look what I got that none of y'all have tried.
Yeah, so that's a really weird phenomenon that's happened recently. Was this like secret things like, did you know that blah, 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 if you order whatnot at this way over here, like they'll make it for you? Or like all the Starbucks secret menu items?
Yes.
Which I have a funny feeling was a marketing plan by them.
Absolutely.
Not just an accident, right?
No, not at all. There's a word for that, and I can't remember it, but it's basically, whenever a company takes something and forces it to go viral and makes it look grassroots. Oh, astroturfing.
Yeah.
Smart,
it's a smart move.
Oh, yeah.
Because when you don't look like you're involved, like, it's a little bit kind of like that's kind of what's the word I'm looking for, like not authentic, but it gets the point across. You get the job done.
And the majority of consumers, honestly, and this isn't to insult anybody, but the majority of consumers they're not going to realize, they're not going to care.
Yeah.
Like we recognize that. I still was pumped about the unicorn prep.
Yeah. Like what is that? It doesn't, like at the end of the day, like, oh well, that sucks. Like I thought it was grassroots, but what does that do? Like that doesn't change my mind. I still want the damn thing.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
So tell me. So let's go in a little bit. Let's talk. Let's talk about what you're doing on social, because this is always very interesting to me, watching what other people are doing, because you're getting the name out there. Marketing-wise, is social the only thing you're doing?
Right now, social is the only thing that I'm doing.
So before you go further into that,
sure.
Why?
So really, it just came down to a decision. I'm marketing an app. What are the best people to market it to, and who's my audience? And just naturally, with it being new software, even though anybody can use it, and people are adapting. Like I said, I think before we were on camera, my parents recently got smartphones and they use apps.
Yeah.
I needed to hit my target audience, and so organizations that I'm in, we recently made a decision to kind of take a little bit of money out of our print marketing fund and our TV and radio advertising, and we pumped it into social media advertising, and we've had about double the amount of success year over year since we turned.
Thank you.
Yeah,
yes.
Since we put money into social media marketing. And the thing about it is, you can do a lot of social media marketing for free, but there are some things that you need to pay for.
Yes, absolutely.
It's very important. And so it's been 100% social media. I do intend on doing some TV advertising. Radio advertising, I'm not doing. I'm literally not doing it. I'm doing internet radio advertising. So you'll hear me on Spotify.
Which is different. Yes.
Right. It's different things. You'll hear me on Spotify. You'll hear me on Pandora. But the audience that I'm specifically targeting doesn't turn on their radio anymore, unfortunately. I mean, there's still a place for that. And I have friends in radio media, and so I don't want to bash that medium. It still has its place. But for the goals that I'm trying to accomplish with Grubstar right now, and where I think that we're trying to push this, it's social.
I mean, and it is what it is, because I get what you're saying. Like, you don't want to upset anybody, but you have to, like, you can't walk around and be blind to what's going on. You know, there has to be that realization that this is what's actually happening. I mean, because you made a business decision not to do radio ads, right?
Exactly.
And again, no offense to anybody that's in radio, but like, it's a real thing that's happening. They know it.
Right.
They know they're not blind to that stuff, right? Everybody knows that. The same thing with the print ads, right? Like that, it's scary for people that have been doing that, have built their business models around that. But I don't think, like I said, none of this stuff's going away. And I say this all the time, like, all marketing works, everything works. It's just depending on like cost, right? Because things are underpriced, some things are overpriced. The market corrects itself over time. You know, it's nothing to be like super afraid of. Like, radio is not going to die tomorrow. Like, that's not going to happen. We're in the middle of a huge communication shift, but none of that stuff's going to like disappear.
No, it just goes off an ebb and flow of trends.
Yes.
And right now, the number one trend, and I don't think it's going to go anywhere, it's not just a one-time deal or anything like that, but the trend right now is social media advertising. And
it's
so that's
cheap and it's effective.
Yes, it's so effective. I mean, it's ingrained into our lives. As soon as my mom downloaded Facebook, she's on it every day now. I'm on Facebook multiple times a day, every day. I probably spend over an hour every day on Facebook.
Yeah.
And multiple other social media websites. And
this is crazy. Like, we have our phones, right? That are attached to everybody's hips.
Yeah, I've got like 6 notifications.
Right? At like all times. The crazy thing is, like, half of our time spent on the mobile device is on some sort of social platform.
Yeah, absolutely.
50%
Right.
of a device that's on our hips at all times.
It's crazy.
It should be an easy thing to think about, but I mean, it's something that I think people just, because it happened so quickly, right? Because this thing was not a thing 10 years ago. Not the way it is right now, right? Like 10 years ago. And so the speed at which things like Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, YouTube, like the speed at which these came up and like almost, it feels like overnight became a part of our lives. It makes sense to me why people are like, why would that work? Because we haven't really like contemplated, as a society, we haven't really come to grips with it yet, that it has totally overtaken everything.
It has.
The internet is eating everything, right?
And my recommendation to people that do ask why and are wondering why is this blowing up, like stop asking why and start asking like, how can I get involved? How can I take advantage of this? You know, whether it's just branding yourself and taking advantage of social media marketing, just as a person and building a following of people and friends, that's incredibly important and valuable. And if you use that in business down the line, then wonderful. And if not, then you have a lot of friends that you didn't have previously.
Yeah.
Couldn't ever meet. Like I met this dude, we met like online, I guess.
Yep. I think it was through Facebook.
Yeah, through Facebook. And dude, it's incredible just the mindset and everything that you have, and that will definitely be able to flourish.
Yeah, it's very, very cool to me. Like social's amazing to me. And I think I have, mixed feelings, because a lot of people, I know there are like negative feelings about it, like, oh, like people don't know how to make friends anymore and blah, 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 like all this, like, but that's all crap. Like I think we're all like, it's all just a different medium.
Exactly.
We're all doing the same stuff. We're still like, I made a post a while back on Facebook because I was like angry about it because people were like complaining about like social media has made everybody so mean and everybody's like complaining about politics. I was like, no. Don't blame social on this. We've always been that way. We just don't do it in public. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Everybody's got their opinions that nobody agrees with. The problem is social has given us a venue to display that. And it's easier for someone to type it out and press enter than it is to do that in a real life situation,
right? And
then have to like watch that person's face as they react.
Exactly. Yeah, it's not live, and that's why people are able to be so nasty online.
Yeah,
is that they don't face immediate consequences. You know, it's borderline anonymous. I mean, I could throw anybody's picture up, start a Facebook profile, and really just do whatever.
Requests today from that exact
just fake profiles.
But the funny thing is, like, people realize that stuff too. We're noticing that, like, again, the market always corrects itself, right? We're noticing these fake profiles that come up because when Facebook first came around, if you saw something like that, like, it wouldn't cross your mind that it was fake because it wasn't there yet. And so I'm sure they got it, like, it was working really well at first, right?
Funny.
But as that started happening more and more, like, we're careful about stuff now because we hear the stories about this happening and this, like, people getting catfished,
right?
Which is really funny to me too. But
it
all corrects itself. Like, it's all it's become a part of our lives to the point where, like, we're gonna just be okay with some of the crap that happens, but it's not a bad thing. Like, I don't know. I'm getting kind of a rant a little bit, but you know what I mean?
Okay. Before we segue back into Grubstar, I did want to say that something that I've had to coach myself on personally is not judging somebody based off their social media platform, which you should be able to, because what you put out there reflects what they feel. But I think, okay, well, it's almost like I'm reading their mind, and so I'm gonna pretend that what they're saying on Facebook basically isn't happening.
Yeah.
It might help me. It might help me decide, well, I might not do a business deal with them or something like that. But in just the general way that I treat somebody, social media is just it's out of the picture.
For a lot of people, it's like a running stream of thoughts. There's two things that are happening, right? There's like this running through stream of thoughts being people don't really care and they're just typing, not realizing the impact it makes.
Trump.
But then the other thing, Donald Trump. But the other thing is, like, hey, like, you can hate him or like him, like, that's what he's doing.
Yeah.
Realistically, right?
No, that's exactly what he's doing.
The other thing is the other version of this is people are going the exact opposite of they're only posting this stuff they want people to see. And so they're like PRing themselves and not being really authentic about it. Right? Which is a totally different situation. But anyway, so all that ties back into like why you're doing the app in the first place, right?
Yes.
Because it's a new thing, but it's here, it's coming. I mean, it's already here. Right?
Yeah, launching July 22nd. I mean, we're putting another full work day in tomorrow on finalizing some things on the back end for the app. So this is a legitimate app again. built
It's
in
real.
the Permian Basin. Yeah, this is a real product, and tons of blood, sweat, and tears has gone into this. Something that I would want to say, just to add a little bit of background information as to why Grubstar, why are we doing this? It's really to spur and promote creativity. That's the biggest thing. Because it's restaurants, it's obviously going to be in food, but the whole idea behind it is that we want to create new things in the Permian Basin and then eventually spread outside of the Permian Basin. The business plan, honestly, is to be all across Texas by the end of 2018. So that's a little window into the time frame that I have, and I think that they're very realistic goals that I can meet, and then I'll be sitting there December 2018 saying, wow, we are spread out across Texas, and it's going to happen.
I love that.
It's pretty incredible.
And this is execution. So this is real. I love this stuff so much because you got to act, right? So many ideas, plenty of ideas floating around everywhere. But if you're not willing to hit the ground like you've done, right, made those business decisions, go and talk to the people, and it wouldn't have happened, right?
One last story on execution.
Go for it.
Okay. So my niece, nephews, brother, and sister-in-law are in town from Arizona. My nephew's freaking out over his fidget spinner. He's going nuts. They just love him. I knew that they were going to have fidget spinners on him, and so I've never messed with a fidget spinner. I was like, they're so lame. Like, the kids aren't going to get me into that. So I'm sitting there and I'm messing around with it, and I'm like, so how many of your friends have this? And he's talking about how, like, literally every single kid that he knows has a fidget spinner. And so I sat there. I was like, man, it'd be interesting if I got like a Grubstar fidget spinner, and just decided, to use that as a marketing tool. So I sat there for a bit, and I was like, you know what? I always tell myself to execute. I got my order confirmation just a little while ago that I have Grubstar fidget spinners coming. And we're going to see what happens. But the thing is, I could have thought, hey, what would it be like if I had a Grubstar fidget spinner? Would kids like this? What's it going to do? I ordered them. I mean, you have to act.
Go try it.
No matter how goofy it is, no matter what it might be, you don't know what's going to happen.
Well, and that's a super smart move. Like, that's not just like, I'm going to buy a fidget spinner. Like, that's not a dumb move. That's super intelligent because of the demographic that's in that, right?
Right.
Like, you're taking over. Like, they may not be ready to spend money, but they're going to see your app, right? And then whenever, like, they may download your app and they may not be ready to spend money yet, right? But whenever they get to that point and they get their first job, like, you've already been in their face for a year and a half.
Yeah. Constantly just spinning.
Yeah, and so it becomes like it's a pretext for moving into the business model. Like you're like prepping them to be real, consumers for you. It's the same thing with Snapchat.
One of the Netflix business model when they moved into streaming. Like, everybody had a Netflix account and everything like that. But
then they moved into the streaming thing.
The younger demographic with the app and all that kind of stuff where you could actually stream. And everybody kind of just picked up on it. And now that's, like, they still do it, and people are surprised to hear that you can still get a DVD from Netflix. Because they're like,
well,
I didn't know that, actually. I thought it was all streaming now.
The same thing goes for like Snapchat, for example, because a lot of business owners we talk to, like, why would I want to do Snapchat? Like, those guys don't spend money yet. Is the thing here, right?
Right.
Like, every age demographic ages up. Like, this is natural order of things. Like, people get older, so it's something that I've kind of suppressed a little bit because Snapchat is super huge age demographic, and not a whole lot of businesses are utilizing it, right? But if you can get in front of their face for a while, right, and not like advertise to them, but like be a part of their lives, like we talk about, engaging, so that whenever they do become consumer level age, like, you've won that market.
Exactly, and the thing too is if it is like something branded, like the Grubstar fidget spinners that are coming soon.
Coming soon.
Not only is it the child that's playing with, and so it could have that the future consumer there, but the parents are going to see it because every kid is going to have a guardian that's with them, and so they're like, man, I bought that Grubstar fidget spinner, or the dude gave me a Grubstar fidget spinner. Like, okay, what is this guy? Like, what is this?
What's
like,
Grubstar?
What is that? Yeah.
You become like a weird cult following thing, or the parents are like, that's the devil.
Yeah, I'll have to be careful. I might have to start carrying an entourage around. After
that's funny.
Those.
That's so funny to me. Sweet, man. So this is super exciting. I'm excited. We're gonna whenever this thing comes out, we make sure we'll blast it because that'd be really, really cool to watch going out. Let's see where we at. Yeah, we're a little over time, but that's cool. Sweet. So social tags, like you have Facebook, you have an Instagram. Like, what's going on with that?
Yeah, follow me at Grubstar US on Facebook, or just look up Grubstar on Facebook. Don't have an Instagram yet. That's coming soon. Visit www.grubstar.us. to sign up, actually request an invite to the launch on the 22nd. Again, the launch party is on July 22nd in Odessa. We're launching in Midland before the end of September, and we're just really pumped to be in the market. Ryan McGuire, local Odessan, Permian Basin kid. Want to change industry around here. It's going to be a lot of fun.
It's going to be super fun. Sweet. Thanks, guys, for watching, and we'll see you next time.